So achievement-based inspiration. Just to run this again. There are personal achievements that one person will fulfill. They will gain inspiration. And then there are going to be group achievements. Now, this doesn't grant everyone inspiration. What it's going to do is grant the party as a whole an inspiration. And it's between you guys as a group to decide who and when and if the moment is important enough to use that inspiration dice.
So like exactly what is done in Baldur's Gate 3.
I have not played Baldur's Gate 3, so I have
that's how inspiration works there as well.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. So they may have taken it from Baldur's Gate 3 then as well.
Some big character moment or a moment that is important to a given character or companion happens,
exactly.
and inspiration becomes available for the party.
Perfect. So that means people. I know a few of you have played Baldur's Gate 3. As I say, I haven't. But either way, you'll be familiar with it. That's effectively how that's going to work going forward. I have like a starting list right now. As we go on, obviously, I'll be making more and updating it. And what I'll generally try and do is grant them at the top of each session. Rather than, for example, if you hit that requirement in session, in the middle of one session, I will probably wait till the start of next session to announce that and give that inspiration die, just so you've got like the full time to, it makes more sense, in my opinion. Does that sound okay with everyone? Does everyone understand the sort of general gist of what I'm getting at here?
How many inspiration can we have, I guess, saved up?
I'm gonna say it's a bit of a weird one. I know that inspiration doesn't stack. You can't gain more than one. And I still want to be able to give my own personal inspiration for moments that like aren't necessarily achievements as such, but I think are very poignant moments in the game. So I still want to be able to do that. So this is like separate inspiration to that. And these inspirations can stack. So for example, the group can have multiple inspirations and stack them, and so can one person. But obviously, these are achievements where I don't feel like there should be a downside that you have to use it, or like you can't hit. If you hit multiple achievements at one time, you'll only get the benefit of one. So I want these to be able to stack. Okay. So I think these are going to be like an even better inspiration because they will last past. I'm going to say what they will do is like last past the session as well. So where I will still give temporary inspiration for the session, these achievement inspirations are going to be a lot more beneficial because it's essentially gaining advantage and inspiration on a roll in the future that you may need help.
Ooh. Kind of puts the weight on it.
Yeah. Speaking of, as I say, I started off with a list. Some of these I've sort of taken from what I think would be relatively simple ones anyway. Some of them are more story-based. So retroactively at the start of this, there are 3 achievements in particular that I feel like you have been fulfilled, and I will grant out now. 2 of them are group inspiration, sorry. One of them, and the first one, is called We'll Meet Again. And that is save Skylark from the clutches of the Kuatoa and deliver him to Port Cyrus.
I knew we should. Yeah.
The second one, and kind of a bonus one in the same sort of bit here, is an achievement called We're on a Tight Schedule, which was successfully complete combat with the Kuatoa without them summoning the Jub Jub. The last
I'm
one
sorry, what was
is
it called?
the Jub Jub.
The achievement.
Oh, we're on a tight schedule.
Okay, sorry.
I can copy these and put them in the chat, these three. There is one last one. It's a personal inspiration. And it goes to Jackdaw. And it's an achievement called Feeling Lucky Punk. And it's rolled 2 nat 20s in a row.
Thank you. I take this award for all the people that couldn't. You lift me up.
So,
Thank you.
just so I understand, does that mean that Jackdaw has 3 inspiration points? Or is this going over my head?
No. So group inspiration doesn't grant it to everyone. Technically, Jackdaw can use 3 inspiration points, but by using anything more than his personal one is going to be eating away at one of your shared combined group ones.
Ooh. So basically, I have a luck point. Yay.
Effectively, yeah. Well, inspiration gives you sort of advantage on the roll, so you have to declare it beforehand. Whereas a luck point you can do after the roll. Okay, let me see if this works. Does anyone want to volunteer as tribute for a recap?
Oh, I can do it. I've got my notes here. Let's see if I can even read them. So it starts off with Saul is wonderful. That is a necessary part of the recap. So we kind of start with Althea being on board of the Harpy's ship, being manacled, but not really trying to escape or anything. She just kind of looking around, figuring out who's who and what's what. And she meets Skylar, I believe is her name. I think her name is Skylar, right?
Sawyer.
Sawyer. Yeah. What was I saying?
Skylar. Close enough. Sawyer, though.
Close enough. Sawyer. Okay. I genuinely cannot read my notes to find that name. So, she meets her. They talk for a bit. They kind of chit chat, and then we jump from Althea being on the ship to the group aboard the Cordelia, where everyone kind of sits around and is discussing the best course of action to approach the island and rescue Althea. And while this is happening, Flippin is kind of partially downstairs, setting up his secondary source of income on the starboard side. They chit-chat and make plans to get on and off the island. Old Salty gets yelled at because he left his post and, he needs to be up there doing his job because, he has a job to do. And then Althea is kind of dropped into a really bare, empty room where she kind of goes back and forth with Ola for a bit before trying to get out of the manacles, sailing, and then having a chit-chat with Hallie, the Harpy Queen herself. We end the session with the Cordelia slowing down their approach as they get close to the island.
That is indeed where we left off. I am going to actually pick back up with Althea. It's not been too long here. I think it's been an hour or so since you had this interaction with the Harpy Queen. And since you've been here, there's been this incessant and droning, almost grumbling that you've been hearing, which isn't something that you've not heard before, but it's abnormal for it to have gone on this long, this continuous, this monotonous, this growling of just in the back of your head. As you're sort of thinking about the Harpy Queen here, how do you feel initially after that interaction with her?
Probably not like the greatest, not super down about it, but just kind of like, well, that didn't go the way I wanted it to. But we'll get her next time. Kind of like trying to stay positive about it.
As you sort of sit here defeated a little bit, you give me a perception check first of all.
Ooh, that's a 19.
Ooh. 19 is very good. Obviously a lot of what you're aware of where you are right now is built on these rocks. A lot of it is unstable, as I mentioned last time, and seems to be DIY to some extent. First thing that crops to your head, like when you think about it, is a pirate queen as such who has permanently set up shop almost on land or some homemade land. It's not like the Harpy Queen's massively seen sailing around on a ship, through the Thieves' Belt, for example. I think I've mentioned this before. And at 19 as well, you noticed something quite strange, which is something you recognize, but because it's such a unusual smell for your sort of upbringing with the sea elves in your very natural fishing community. You've been getting like a weird sense of smell of a very bitter and hazy smell of fumes and what smells like you've been seen before. Very high-tech powered things that are powered by this, which is like some sort of fuel, some sort of oil or petroleum-based fuel that you can smell in the air.
Interesting.
Grumbles carry on. And after a while, you hear a chilling yet familiar voice emerge from the grumbles. I thought you said you were worthy.
I am worthy. I'm just in a bit of a predicament right now.
You let her disgrace our name. She brings that poisons our homes. A plague that sickens.
I know. I'm not gonna let her get away with it. I'm working on it.
I can help. As I want a soul.
I'm pretty sure I can get that arranged.
I want you, Althea, to make a sleight of hand check here with advantage. Against these shackles to begin with.
That's only an 11.
With advantage?
Mm-hmm. It was a nat 1 or a 9 plus my modifier. So.
Hey guys.
You see a tentacle sort of come from the ground, reaches up as it begins to wrap its tentacle around the shackles and almost begins to trying to help, but it's just making it worse almost. It doesn't have the grip. The tentacle, after a moment, sort of notices that it's not really working. You feel a tug, and because these are non-magical manacles here, as they rusted anyway, just snap off your hands.
It's kind of like rubbing her wrists where they were. Thank you.
You see the tentacle recoils. As you do, you see at the sort of door, there is a bit of a knock, and goes, you mind if I come in? It's a familiar voice. You realize it's Sawyer.
Yeah. Come in. Just kind of keep our hands together in front of her. Maybe stand in front of the shackles.
The Sawyer goes, well, I was kind of joking. I don't have a key. You want to open the flap from the other side so I brought you some food. I don't know whether they were feeding you.
Just gonna walk over and lift up the flap and be like, they brought me breakfast, but any food is appreciated. It wasn't all that great to begin with.
You see that she hands over some cooked fish through this gap that you've opened in the door. It's got jail bar sort of cells, and it just covers the sort of face. He looks at you and goes, so what's the plan? She gonna let you go? Or
I would probably scuff that chance. You never know.
well,
She could change her mind.
at least there might be someone half decent to hang around with here.
I would appreciate some company now and then.
Hey, I just came to check on you, but I just wanted to ask you something. While you were in, you see her tone gets a bit more hushed. While you were in Port Cyrus, did you meet a girl called Sage at all?
Sage. I don't think so. But I wasn't there for very long before I wound up here, so don't take my word that she's not there.
That's fine. Don't worry. It was just a shot in the dark. Don't worry. As she sort of sits there, and she does it. She seems reluctant to leave Althea. Give me an insight check if you.
That's a 18.
That's a very good insight check. You've got this vibe from Sawyer here that, although willingly being part of this, she's not fond of being part of this. You get the sense that she doesn't really get along with a lot of the harpies here. And that small sort of interaction and connection that you had on the sort of way over here seems to have made some sort of effect for her to come back. Seems reluctant to leave in a sense of not trying to gain any information, but she just starts having like general conversation with you, and trying to have this chat. Meanwhile, obviously, I would say you were doing a decent job at hiding this because the gap for her to see in is so small. Obviously, you've got the manacles hidden, and at this point, like you've seen out the window, the Cordelia is out there. So although this conversation is probably warranted, you know as well there's probably a matter of time till something's about to happen. We will cut back over to the crew on the Cordelia. All of you pull up and under the captain's orders are going to be not taking the boat in and anchoring up and swimming in. So for the rest of you on the boat, we talked about last time about you guys swimming in. I think last time when we ended it, I think Flippin was the only one not necessarily going straight away. Is that still the case? Obviously, you guys still do have these crew members who can look after the boat while people are gone.
Could I ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
Is my brew done?
So I believe the brew is halfway done. It needs 4 hours, and it's been 2.
Okay. As far as I know, I'm the only one that can't breathe water.
Right, so breathing in water is going underwater. You can still swim, Flippin. You're just at like half your movement speed in water if you don't have a swim speed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could always toss you in my bag. It'll be less than 10 minutes.
How do we know that?
What? That is true. You guys do. I'll say that. I don't know whether Bert actually gave you that information. So it's one of those where if you guys want to try it.
The Jackdaw's crazy enough to try it, I think. I know Flippin would probably be okay with it.
Does anyone have an extra ocean dweller?
No, we should probably leave at least one person in the party on the ship.
And frankly, the crew's gonna need Flippin's help anyways.
Yeah, that's true. They're gonna have to fight off Harpies.
And I'm sorry to say this, take this how you want, Flippin. You make a damn good distraction. Take it how you want.
Distraction.
You hear Sage pipes up as well and goes, I'll be honest, I think having as many of you go in there just in case, I know you want to be sneaky, but there's already 4 of you going. No, well, 3 of you going out of 4. 3 isn't a lot, and as much as stealth is great, if things don't go to plan, we're not in range to be able to react quick enough here. Especially from this side where we're hidden from a lot of where anything we can see that may look like anything may go down. We have this blank cliff face to sort of look at, so we can't aim too much with the cannons. It's a bit of a tricky one, Captain.
I think as we're thinking and mulling it over, Flippin, his tail's kind of flopping down below his legs, and he's kind of like poking his index fingers together and looking down a little bit.
Sorry, we got a bit distracted by people outside. What was that?
Oh, Flippin's looking shy.
No, from Ben.
Oh, that was a while back.
Yeah, we
got
got distracted by sounds outside.
So, Sage sort of explains that if anything doesn't go to plan with stealth, having 3 of you there in a numbers game isn't great. There's also not a lot to aim from this side of the island that you're on. There is a lot of cliff face, but not a hell of a lot of structure that you're viably able to aim at. If anything went down, it's very likely that it would happen based on the looks here. If you wanted a vantage point, the ship would need to be on the other side, which is obviously where that opening is. There is obviously these guys who can look after the ship. They're going to be able to keep this boat ready. They'll be able to somewhat steer it lightly here, but they're not going to be able to fully sail off because they don't have a full crew.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be. I'll be generous enough that obviously, if all of you go, the NPCs will be able to maneuver the boat to some degree around here. But especially with the rocks and there not being a full crew, it won't be like a great deal of movement like the Cordelia normally has.
Mm-hmm. If we keep the sails, instead of completely closing them, if we keep them trimmed such that they catch a little air, we set the Cordelia to drift towards the opening. Like, not sort of drift around the island towards the more open area so that it can have a better vantage point.
Do you want to do that all together, or as, as a distraction? So you want one team to go off and do that and the others sail it round?
Mm-hmm. Because one team could go and use the cliffside for stealth because, cliffside is inherently probably not going to be watched as well. Just because of the cliffs, it's going to be hard to make land at a cliffside. And And having a better vantage point for the distraction would be particularly helpful. Especially if we have the Cordelia's crewed by what, 5 people?
Cordelia needs 4 people to be crewed. Fully.
Flippin stays behind, that's enough to crew. Then
But obviously, as I say, I will say, like, using the wind. Let me roll a check to see if the wind's in your favor for doing that. Because if the wind's in your favor here, then it's not going to require maneuvering, and you will still be able to do that with 3 people. If the wind's against you here, it's going to need the full crew. That's a 17. Wind's in your sails right now. So if you want to do it to an extent where you angle them so you have a slight drift over, you can. It also sets a clock for when that's going to be seen.
But we do need time to... We sort of want the distraction to start right as we arrive. Which means that if it drifts, that would be good timing in theory, because that would give us time to swim over.
If it's drifting from where you are now, it will take roughly around 5 minutes, maybe just over, to get to where the entrance point would be, to get round these rocks.
And about how long do you think does Undyne estimate it would be to swim to the cliffs?
To swim to the cliffs? To swim to the cliffs, you've got a couple of minutes to swim to the cliffs. Depends on getting past these rocks as well.
That actually, the timing on that works out pretty well then, because that's 5 minutes. That's a couple minutes to get to the cliffs, and a slightly less time to scale them, and then it's 5 minutes to start the distraction.
And then I think your biggest hazard perception here is being able to scale the cliff in time and safely enough.
We have rope, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm saying that from a natural sense. If you guys have ways to be able to get up there in other means, but by all means. But naturally, you'd be worried that all 3 of you wouldn't be able to safely get up there in time. It's a pretty tall rock to the top of it, because you'd be effectively climbing to the summit. There's various levels of this, but as I say, most of them are access to the other side. Give me a perception check here as you try and suss it out.
Do we have grappling hooks of any kind?
Are they in
We
your
have an
backpack?
anchor.
Do you have an anchor?
We do have a throwable anchor.
Yes, you do.
If only I had silence. I could have silenced a cannon and shot a grappling hook or our anchor. To the side of that. That would have been dope.
You know what's really funny is Althea has climbing gear.
You better jump out that fucking window. Jackdaw will save you. I swear.
Just jump over here.
Yeah, get over here.
That's interesting. It's not letting us roll on D&D Beyond, so we're going to use the bot.
Okay.
What's the command for that?
Exclamation point R space and then however many.
Yeah, whatever
You're trying to roll.
is.
Dirty 20 total.
Damn.
Cool. So you take a good look here. There are a lot of points. Scaling the top doesn't seem realistic. But on a 20, you see some points where maybe scaling up to a certain point, and there are certain points where you feel like you may be able to climb round and get to maybe not necessarily the top, but lower levels or a different level here, where you may be able to, rather than climb all the way to the top, try and climb up a bit and get round into a more a position where you can see a bit more. The bottom couple of bits of the cliff seem very climbable. It's towards, as you get higher, it becomes a lot steeper and a lot pointed. On a 20 as well, you do see that although there is not a lot of vision on this side, you can see on the subject of climbing round that there are points where you can see off in the distance there. Like Harpy's not necessarily looking out. You see that some of them are like drinking on rocks. They're not at the point where you would be looking to sort of necessarily land from sea to water, come out of swimming. But they do look to be like, as you look a bit more around towards the edge where you would need to sort of like tackle round. So there's the option of going up higher, but it's more of a risk. Or you feel like you may be able to climb around to one of the other lower levels, climb up a bit and climb to one of the lower levels around. However, you know that there's chance of you being seen, as there's probably like people still wandering around the closer you get to like the actual buildings and things here.
Just a thought. Either Jackdaw could cast invisibility, or I could wild shape, look ahead, and then just like warn hey, there's someone here, wait a minute. Kind of like the hand signal kind of thing, except for you wouldn't be able to see the hands if it was Jackdaw.
Oh, that reminds me. Jackdaw is going to create 3 signals. If you guys want to scroll these down, I definitely would. Red, bad, failure. Green, we're gonna get the fuck out, and I'm gonna say blue is man down.
What was green?
Green was good.
Green is good. Red is bad. Blue is man down.
Like red is just leave us. Does it mean dancing lights is what, 120 feet? So you could probably see that from basically anywhere around if I shoot it straight up.
Is the Cordelia big enough to have cannons?
Yeah, you have cannons. You have 2 cannons.
That's good to know. So, what do we know about the other sides of the island? We know what's the side currently on us, and we know there's the side with the opening, but an island is typically 4-sided, if not more.
Well, this is a more rounded shape. And as I said, there's like bits of beaches that sort of surround the edges of the rocks, and there are bits of ground, but a lot of this seems to be more like stone peaks in the sea that they've sort of built upon. A lot of this back face is a very weird curvature. At the top, you can see that there are some buildings. Seem to be made of things like wood, corrugated steel. On a 20 perception check, one of the things that you notice as well that I forgot to mention is from one of the sort of 2 seconds here, sorry. Apologies. As you look at one of the surrounding edges of this island towards the east, there's this weird tint that begins to happen in the wall. It becomes a bit darker, seems a bit more slicked. You can't see necessarily anything that's contributing towards that. But you do see on the rocks around there does seem to be more like metal than there is wood, like most of the other buildings are. That's another thing, which is a lot of the structures that you can sort of take an eye at here seem to be a lot of it made from like corrugated pieces of metal and wood is for the main part. But on that side, you do spot more like sort of a lot more metal used in some of the construction.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too much you can gain on the front right now because you guys haven't seen that half of the island.
That makes sense.
This half is very hard to assess from. Like, Sage has knowledge and can tell you things, but it's like trying to explain something that you can't really see. She doesn't have a map of Harpy's Rock to be able to give you. But you know that Sage has said that she's been here a couple of times. It's probably something that comes to your mind there, which is like, how has she been here and come back? There's got to be a way, and there's some sort of sense of like, maybe there's something that, you know, you're going to need some form of inside knowledge because you're essentially preparing for the unknown, the other side of this rock.
Mm-hmm. Undyne is going to, like, after thinking for a moment, looking out towards the cliff face, turn towards Sage. Sage, you said you've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get out alive?
They didn't see me. They didn't know I was there.
Whole crew,
Insight?
dozens large.
None, just me. I came on my own.
Let me rephrase that. A whole crew, dozens large, and not one of them saw you?
Well, you know, you pick. First off, I only ever came at nighttime. We seem a lot more distracted at nighttime. They're realistically at the heart of it just actual animals when it comes to habits. It's like a lawless playground up there. It's just drinking and yeah, it's crazy how they live. But at night they're more distracted. And also she stops for a second. As like she's been quite openly talking here. She pauses for a second. She goes, I just know that there are, like, I didn't need to go deep in. There are just parts that I know would be safer. That there wouldn't be people there. It's also very easy to blend in when you're a female in this crew. We pick up well, it's weird. Up here, price. They pick up a lot of new recruits at the Harpies. They try and prey on like younger females that do want to have this lifestyle. It's missold completely, but they have new recruits all the time, so it's very easy to sort of blend in if you know what you're doing. However, I don't think you're going to blend in all together here. I mean, she really doesn't like men either, so just bear that in mind, Jackdaw and Flippin.
Can I roll insight on Sage?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Wait.
Ben,
Is
what?
it because we said we? I fucked up
Oh.
so bad.
Where's the sun?
Okay, here we go. +6.
In the sky.
11.
11.
Oh.
Okay. What do you want to know about Sage?
I want to know, does she seem like she's hiding anything?
On an
Maybe.
11?
Yeah.
Let me do a little roll.
Pirates hiding something.
Come on. Watch her rolling that one, guys. Watch this.
She definitely seems like she's holding on to something. Doesn't seem like necessarily a big thing, but she's seemed to skirt around something at one point.
Jackdaw raises his hand, points a finger at her. I'm casting message.
Okay.
Tell me what you're hiding, or I will speak. Or sorry. Out loud. Wait, out loud. That's 11. I want to trust you, please.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Okay. Question. Does the Port Cyrus advantage still count with her?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. I got a +6. I'm not worried. I'll take a 25.
She looks at you for a moment. She looks very intimidated as you just point to her and send her this like telepathic message. You see her eyes look down as you send it. She thinks for a moment and she looks back. And you get a response that says, "My sister's here. I come to see my sister."
I'm just gonna nod my head and just kind of look away, like pretending like I didn't just point at her and have that conversation.
You definitely just pointed at her, gave her the eyes, and then she looked really ashamed for a moment and looked back at you, and you just walk away. That's what everyone else is.
Yeah.
I'll just, you know what? For comedic sake, I'm sorry I farted, and I think she smelled it.
Watch yourself, Jackdaw. Too many secrets will get you in trouble.
Oof.
And by the way, Ben, the earlier question of where's the
Yes.
sun? What time is it, roughly?
The sun is setting.
Okay. That gives us an idea. That gives Undyne an idea, particularly.
Okay.
So, to the rest of the crew, and sort of also to Sage as well. So, you said that they're a lot more distracted at night. I have an idea. Not sure how well it'd work. But how fast is the sun setting at the moment? Like, because
You've probably got about 30 minutes left of sunlight.
Right. If we're willing to wait a bit for darkness, I have an idea that might help. I have a trick we might be able to pull.
What kind of trick? I really do like tricks.
So, we'd need one of us to stay back here on the ship for this to work. We'd need a full crew. If some of us were to go and hide somewhere near the base of the cliffs, no need to climb up immediately, we might be able to bring the ship around to the front, not just as a distraction, but to make them think that's where we're coming from. And still then, in theory, they should most likely defend their own isles. Tactical retreat by the crew would probably leave the Harpies much more at ease, much less on edge, much less attentive to anyone sneaking amongst themselves. A fake defeat.
Alternatively, they repel our air quotes attack and scour every inch of the island until they find us. It's a sound strategy, though.
It could go very well or very wrong.
Yeah.
But also, in theory, if they don't see the three of us go overboard, then they should not know that anyone even made it off the ship and onto the island. They should not suspect it. And then, under the cover of nightfall, once the sun disappears beyond the horizon, drowned in the edge of the sea, that's when we could not necessarily strike. That's when we could go in.
So is it to send the ship round, but at nightfall, and then you guys make your way in?
The idea is to send the ship out before nightfall, sort of, like just before the sun finishes setting, and then have the ship do a false defeat. Go in, pretend to be defeated from their defenses, and leave. then once night fully falls and the Harpies are sort of at ease, having defended off
Mm-hmm.
the Cordelia, and knowing they won't be back, or figuring they won't be back until the ship is somewhat repaired, which would take a decent amount of time, then we could sneak in under the cover of darkness and ease. Cover of darkness and calm. That's the word. It could go really well or really poorly.
So you want Sage, Mercedes, Old Salty, and me to charge straight in through the front while everyone's partying and quickly try to turn around and get back out?
I want you to pull around towards the front. It's likely they'll spot you, activate defenses. I want you to get as close as you can while still knowing that you can get out.
I'm not going to give you guys any information on that, what is on that side of things and how that looks. You haven't seen that side. Sage goes.
Could I ask Sage a question?
Mm-hmm.
Sage, what do you think would happen if you were sneaking in at the party and you could see that from the distance, a boat coming in and then quickly trying to get out?
First thing is, they've got this pretty decent natural defense of these rocks. It's going to be hard to turn the ship round once you get within that range. The sense of them actually noticing, they will notice us come in. Definitely the ship come in. Let me ask, when they took Althea, did they say why? Like, I know we sort of all agreed that it was best not to ask questions and that we all wanted the Harpy Queen gone anyway, but if the Harpy Queen wanted to prove a point, if she wanted someone dead, then I think she would have done it by now. This kind of feels like she wants us here.
I believe the words of her cronies were that the Harpy Queen wanted a word.
So in that
Whoever
case,
mucked with the moonshine.
and they know it's you, so one has to ask if they see a ship with a dragon's figurehead coming in and they're expecting guests. I don't think the defenses are going to be activated if they want you there. There's a good chance if we split up, and we try and sail in, they don't activate any defense. And then it's just us four in contact with the Harpy Queen face to face. It may provide a good distraction for you all, but I don't think the plan of activating the defenses and retreating is going to be a viable one.
Guys, I don't care what we do. We gotta get her out of there. Either way.
It is good to know. So, Sage, do you know if they have a method to communicate with ships at a distance, such that they could alert the crew that... Such as if they wanted to meet with a crew that they saw passing by, or that they recognized? Would they have a way?
It's usually through flags and sails and visual signals, but there's nothing that I can think of. I mean, he sighs a little bit. I kind of have a little bit of a contact on the island, maybe. Fine. I have someone I can message on the island.
Do you trust her?
More than anyone else in the world.
So if it's nighttime and we roll in and they're partying, they may not see the ship. Should we just set a rendezvous time?
They'll see the ship. They just might not attack the ship if they want a conversation with the crew. But we don't know. We don't really know if that's the case.
I will say that you guys are starting to close in on your final sort of moments of like actually being sunset.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to capitalize on some sort of plan where it involves sunset, now's your chance. Otherwise, you are going to be under the cover of darkness within the next 5 minutes. As I leave you with that, Althea, it does begin to start to get dark. It's strange, you've been here a little while here, and you spotted the Cordelia pull up and sort of anchor. You've sort of expected, you've been speaking to Sawyer here for a while. You've sort of expected something to have gone on at this point. But everything just seems to be normal. There seems to be no signs of alerts or anything. Sawyer's just still here, like sort of chatting away to you. So, what did you do in the first place? Like, genuinely, you gave me the roundabout answer last time.
I just mouthed off to the wrong person, I guess, and she wasn't too happy with me. So, I kind of gave you a roundabout answer, but at the same time, there's really not much more to it.
Seems odd that she'd bring you all the way back here just for that. That's all.
I think I said something along the lines of, if the Harpy Queen wants something done, then she can do it herself instead of sending an errand boy after her. And Ola was just kind of like, all right, I'll take you to her myself then. Now I'm here. But
yeah, that sounds about right.
like, it's a little overkill, I think, all the time and effort it spent for them to get me over here. Not that I put up too much of a fuss once they got me up on board, but it is just a little bit much, I feel.
She is a bit much. There's a lot that I just feel is a bit much about this place, to be honest, at times. You see that Sawyer sort of stands to attention, looks around and stands to attention at the door, and as she sort of stands aside for a moment, you see that Hallie Quintella herself is making her way towards the door. She looks at Sawyer and goes, Miss Sawyer, I see you're keeping our dear esteemed guest company. I appreciate that. We wouldn't want her to feel like a prisoner now, would we?
I'm dying of boredom in here, Hallie. Come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Miss Queen, I don't know the proper way to address you with the respect you deserve, so I think I'm gonna stick with Hallie. But I'm dying of boredom in here. Come on.
You can call me Hallie. I'm very open with my girls here. They can call me what they want, but a lot of them choose to call me their queen. Now, I see that, I expected your friends to have some conviction in wanting to come save you. I thought we might see their appearance today. I believe the sun is about to set, and maybe it's time to question whether those friends of yours are actually friends all along.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder that myself.
Miss Althea, I've come to allow you the opportunity to join us for this evening's festivities, if you wish. Have it be known that my hospitality is one of the most revered among the sea, so have that be said that I will not have you locked away in this room here all evening, if you so wish it.
And what do these festivities include? And before you answer this, I actually would like to be looking at watching Sawyer. Can I roll insight to see how she's reacting to Hallie's presence?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a 15.
You see that, out of the corner of your eye, as you sort of turn your attention to Sawyer, not turn your attention, but get a quick look. Sawyer's got this strange thing of not total obedience. There's clearly some respect there in the sense of you saw the way that she instantly, as she spotted Quintella, it wasn't a scared thing. It was I'm moving out the way. She doesn't seem to be reacting well, here. You see a lot of eye rolls when she's trying to sort of claim, this hospitality and sort of nice naturedness. She doesn't seem to be reacting terribly great, but a lot of that lines up to the sort of what you've gained to know about Sawyer at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It lines up to this thing that she's here and she's here by her own choice, but she probably doesn't want to be. There's probably something else there.
Okay. So what do these festivities include?
Just some food, drinks, some friendly chit-chat. I don't know where it is that you're from, Miss Althea, but around these parts we just tend to enjoy each other's company. This is why we're out here. This is our land, a free land, if you will.
Interesting. I guess I could be persuaded to join you for these festivities, but only if you promise not to get mad.
Get mad about what?
You know how I said I was bored just a minute ago?
I
Well,
think I remember that.
the only thing you gave me in here to do were these locks, and, it wasn't very difficult, so, I no longer have manacles on, but I pinky promise I won't do anything.
He looks down at the floor and spots the manacles. She sort of looks back at you and smiles. She's going to do a little check. She looks shocked for a second. Not like fully like shocked, but there's a moment of like you've caught her off guard with that. She looks at the manacles for a second. Her eyes sort of like narrow and her brow furrows for a second. She sort of looks back to you and goes, "That's interesting."
Isn't it?
You must have quite some strength to break the manacles open manually like that. I would have thought lock picking was more your kind of suit.
Do you see how rusty they are?
Roll me a deception check.
If this does not go better than the last time.
We do have the party inspiration still.
You do have party inspiration. And what I will say as well is as you're having this confrontation, Althea picking back up in sort of volume. Louder and louder, this angry growling, sort of incessant, sort of just noise that's in your head as you are also trying to take in what the Harpy Queen's saying here.
She's gonna kind of like, Jesus Christ, why am I so bad at this? She's gonna kind of rub her head, like, when you've got a headache forming and you're like, kind of rubbing at her forehead. But I only rolled a 10 for that deception check.
Okay. He pauses for a moment, looks at you. Very well. I won't hold that against you because that's on me. I agree. There was no entertainment, and that's no way to treat a guest, so it's only right that you would try to do something. Now, I promise not to be mad, and if you would like to join us for our festivities, you're more than welcome.
I would be honored.
Please. After me. I'm not going to make you roll another insight. 15 on insight. Still about Sawyer. Sawyer has a very questioning look on her face, almost as if she's sort of questioning the Harpy Queen at the moment.
Interesting.
It's very loud speech.
I think Althea's just gonna... She's not gonna mention it. She's not gonna look at Sawyer too hard. She's just gonna, be rolling with the punches right now. But I'm gonna keep that noted away that this is
Althea will
unusual.
remember this. Althea, you're led to essentially what is this large middle platform in the rocks that sort of goes with the inside horseshoe shape of the outer rock that I was explaining to the others. there seems to be various levels and tiers here, where there are just groups of harpies sort of sat together, drinking, eating food. There's sort of campfires around various campfires, and they're all spread out along this, like, it almost looks like this is what they use as like a communal space, like all coming together. There are these houses and things, but especially on nice nights like tonight, it's there's a bit of a breeze and there's a wind, but it's quite a nice sort of night. It's not cold or anything in particular. You see that a lot of them seem to be sort of just getting along and drinking and eating. You do see Ola, Lou, and Val all sat with where the Harpy Queen goes to sit. I was going to say sat with, but the Harpy Queen follows into where they are. She sort of leads you to sit with them. Sawyer's sort of following. You see, she goes to almost go off and not sit with you guys, and you see that Hallie turns around to her and goes, "Oh, no, Miss Sawyer. Come now, come sit with us. You've kept Miss Althea here entertained for long enough. I'm sure she'd appreciate your presence amongst strangers, if you will." Sawyer throws this look again, Althea, and sort of nods and goes, No, yeah, of course, I'd love to, yeah. Comes and sits down with this group. Is there anything in this moment that Althea is particularly doing?
I think she's just gonna sit next to Sawyer and be like, "Hello, ladies," and give probably like a little cheeky little wave to Ola, because Ola would not take her manacles off earlier and now she doesn't have them. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
Have it.
The Ola, Val, and Lou all are giving you horrid looks, filthy looks. They don't.
She's just gonna keep
pleased.
smiling.
Althea, are you hungry perchance? Do you want
Oh
something
no,
to drink?
I'll take a drink, but I'm pretty full already.
Of course. If you would, please grab Miss Althea a drink, Lou. Lou sort of looks for a second, like, Hallie doesn't see it, but like sort of looks to Ola and Val, like, what the fuck do I have to do it, sort of thing. Sort of just rolls her eyes and gets up, goes and grabs you like a drink. It looks to be like some undisclosed clear liquid. Give me a perception check. Or you can give me an arcana check. It's up to you.
Oh well, I already rolled. I rolled a
19.
19 for a perception, so we'll stick with that.
Althea, this liquid is recognizable to you. This very much looks like the same sort of the moonshine that you saw in the Moonshiner's Cave.
Alrighty. She's gonna take the cup and just be like, "Thank you, Lou." It was Lou, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Lou. I appreciate it.
He throws you a very sarcastic smile back, and goes and sits back down. Weirdly enough, nothing happens here straight away. You expect there to be something here, Althea. Some part to gain for Hallie. Some reason behind her sudden generosity here. And there doesn't seem to be one that you can find right now. She doesn't seem to be asking any particularly probing questions at all. And if you ever turn around and give an answer where you're like sort of clearly saying, you're not wanting to go into it or you're not going to give that information, she doesn't seem to like continuously try and beat at it for now. And a lot of it isn't particularly probing. You don't really find a reason behind this sudden bout of kindness in this moment. It's kind of strange. And you can tell that mainly as well that theory is backed up by Sawyer's sort of questioning this situation. But right now, Hallie seems quite content just laughing away and joking along with some of the other harpies, drinking and eating. As I say, you're like halfway up on this sort of inner ring here, halfway up the sort of structure of Harpy's Rock. You can see out in front of you.
I would like to not be drinking super heavily. Like, she's not just gonna not drink the moonshine in front of her, but she's gonna take it kind of slow. I want to.
Do you drink the moonshine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Small sips.
Roll me a Constitution save, please.
That is 10.
Okay. Then I need to roll something here. Can you roll me a D100, please?
I can. I think. Yes, I can. 90. Oh
you
no!
Can't make this stuff up. Althea, you drink this moonshine, and you feel like a bubbling of magic within you. Something doesn't sit right with how you drink it. It almost shoots straight to your head. And then all of a sudden there's like a flicker and you like shiver as if like alcohol shivers, like you've just tasted alcohol for the first time before. And as you like open your eyes back again, you're just looking at a floating glass, and as you try and look at yourself, you can't see it yourself.
Because of the rainbow leaf.
Wild magic table can just make you invisible. Forgot about that.
I told you that rainbow flower was a double magic sword.
Althea, you are invisible for the next minute. The glass you are... yeah, the glass you are... Other creatures can't hear you.
They can't hear me?
Nope.
Oh,
and
shit.
And the invisibility ends if you attack or cast a spell. I will say that the glass that you're holding currently isn't invisible, but it's a very easy workaround.
Can I hide it under my shirt?
You can't hide it under your shirt.
Your shirt is invisible.
So you can put the glass down, but right now they can see a floating glass. I will say straight away, as you drink it and that happens, Hallie turns to look, doesn't see you. Sawyer turns, doesn't see you. They both look super shocked, and Hallie goes, "What? Where the fuck did you go? Did you give her one of the fucking... Oh, fuck's sake, Lou, fuck! Where is she? Everyone, fucking stop drinking for a second. I want every last motherfucker here searching for that girl. No one carries on having a good time until she's found. You fucking hear me?" All of them sort of just silence around the rock as you hear her sort of rage here in this moment. All of them sort of nod and begin to disperse in various directions around the rock.
This is like the perfect time for the Cordelia to come in.
What I'm going to ask for is, as the Harpy Queen starts shouting here, what do you do? You see that, I will say that you've put the glass down because that's how she doesn't see you anymore. Otherwise, she's going to be able to know where you are. But you are invisible. You don't necessarily know that you've got a minute, but Althea in this moment doesn't know how long she's got. You've got a moment to react here. What's the first thing you do?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
You are
I don't
invisible and creatures can't hear you.
I don't want to lose
Be
Sawyer.
careful what you do. As with much invisibility, it can end early.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Yeah, I think she's just gonna book it, I guess.
Yeah, you see that Sawyer does head off as well and start looking when the Harpy Queen says that. She like begins heading off towards some of the other places, like some of the structures and stuff. He doesn't seem to be like sprinting off like the others are, like, but she does look happy to be able to get away from that very maybe awkward moment for her, in a sense. You are still there, so yeah, you can just start booking it if you want. So you're booking it off, Althea?
Yeah, we'll leave Sawyer behind for now because getting out of here is a little more.
You can
important
sort of
than-
head off in the same direction, but like not actually like be looking to pursue her in particular. Do you know what I mean? But
I was
no,
kind of thinking of getting around to the side of the island that the Cordelia is on.
Okay, absolutely. I'll say that you start booking it towards that direction. The crew of the Cordelia, the sun is about to set. What do you guys do? This is retroactive of what's just happened. This is like at the start of what's just happened with Althea.
Alright. So what do you guys think of the parley idea? Because that does fulfill two things that would probably be helpful to figure out.
Well, I feel like if we're gonna go in, then we just go full in. If we're gonna jump off the ship, I mean, the ship would have to come back around.
Yeah.
I don't think heading straight in any regard is concurrent with a sneaky plan.
Yeah, that's very accurate because of this ship doesn't have any rowboats attached. It's not big enough for that.
What? I think we're right here off the island. I mean, nothing's been called upon us yet. Maybe we should just go in. Leave the boat here. If something happens, they could book it. Come back for us at a later day. But if not, we just grab her and bring her back. It's nighttime now. They should be partying.
Yeah, you know what? Do we want to just take the swim? Send some of us to swim and have the rest wait here?
Flipping
says-
jumps!
As you say that, I'm gonna jump into the fucking water. I'm sorry.
I
I
was
want
gonna
my friend
Dang,
back.
girl, I'm going to.
Can
Jackdaw here swim and jumps in.
As Flippin jumps in, Undyne is gonna sort of like try to grab him and just follow him off. Like off the ship.
You all just like jump off. It's just spontaneously after like hours of trying to decide, and just decide to go for it. The Sage, Old Salty, and Mercedes all look at each other and just sort of like shrug, and try and go best with the plan that you've sort of given them, or to some extent. you
It is
guys
for
all big.
Furl the sails, wait here.
The sun is literally setting as you guys swim in here. All four of you, I would like you to make me dex checks, please, as you have to navigate through the rocks as well, like the shallow waters and the rocks through swimming.
Please
Come
be.
on.
Oh.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh,
Oh.
uh,
Okay.
Wait a second. Is this what kind of?
Oh.
Oh.
Why
are you
Oh.
This is. Oh,
Can I?
yeah. These
Ben,
are
before-
straight deck.
Ben, before we say anything, we have danger sense. Out of curiosity.
Give me the wording on danger sense.
Yeah. Nah. Saving throws. Damn it.
Wait a
Like
minute.
that's why we
This
were.
is-
That's why we were checking because we didn't have it pulled up immediately. We just had
Yeah. No, I think.
danger sense
Yeah.
on our screen.
This isn't a saving throw. This is a dex check.
Yep.
Okay. Who made a 15?
One
Jack Dot.
person.
Right. Jackdaw and Flippin.
Flipping.
Alright.
Yeah.
flipping.
Can I
You
give
both-
Bardic?
Can you give Bardic?
Yeah.
No,
We
you
have-
jumped in the water before you
We-
gave Bardic.
we have-
so-
Group inspiration.
Jackdaw and Flippin, you pass. You manage to navigate through the waters here without taking any damage from the rocks. Undyne
Do
and
we want to
our-
use the group inspiration that we have?
Too late now. We can't use it after the roll.
Really?
You're both gonna take 6 points of
Oh.
bludgeoning damage from the rocks.
Okay. That's not an issue for us.
Nope.
That might be an issue for
Aria,
Althea,
a bit
but
more.
that is not an issue for Undyne.
Aria would definitely be a bit more hurt by it, but yeah, you two both take 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
You said
You
6.
said 6 the first time.
6. Sorry, I was looking at a 7 on screen. I do apologize. I was looking at Undyne's roll before the modifier.
One sec.
in the
One sec,
brackets.
please. There's something dinging out beyond our door.
that extra one. And I never figured out how the heck you added that to it.
What? The extra one?
Remember, you gave me and Flippin an extra dexterity point, but
Oh yeah. I need to give you that.
I never figured out how to add it, and so
Let me have a
technically,
look if I can do that for you right now.
Alright, we're back.
technically that 4 should be a 5.
Oh, you had you got a point to acrobatics, wasn't it? I think it was specifically to acrobatics, was it?
If memory
And
serves, because they were
Athletics
Using
versus
those-
acrobatics.
particular skills. For
Yeah, I
fighting.
think it was that back and forth.
So yeah, Undyne, Aria, you both take 6
Six.
points. 6 points of bludgeoning damage. Then within a few minutes, just as night comes and falls over Harpy's rock here, you do all manage to get to shore. You are currently on a bit of a beachy spot right now. That basically is a bit of a cove. There's no real way in or out from here, but there's a bit of a beachy spot cove here where you guys have sort of managed to swim to, where there's a good purchase where you can maybe start like trying to climb and scale these rocks.
That's definitely helpful. So, going up the rocks, Undyne would like to lead because she has an anchor that she can bury into the wall to get better hold.
Awesome. If you're going to start scaling, I need some... Go ahead.
She will make sure that the others are behind her, and every every 15 or so feet, if we make it that far, she's going to bury her anchor into the wall for a second and sort of tie the chain around herself and essentially hammer and python stick a rope in the wall.
Okay. I want all of you to give me some athletics checks here, or acrobatics. You can use acrobatics if you want. And then if you're doing that with your anchor, you can do yours with advantage.
Could I follow up behind everybody just in case anybody needs help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to get that out of the way now.
That at least makes me feel a little bit better.
Okay.
I think it's land. Oh,
Jackdaw, really?
I know. I'm sorry. I took all the luck.
Don't worry. We had advantage, so our first roll is the higher one, so we're fine.
I like
Okay.
that two of us got 23s.
It's also
Yeah.
actually more beneficial for us to have rolled that one when we were rolling with advantage than it was for us to have rolled it without advantage.
Yep.
So that's a nat 1 out of the way, and that's a nat 20 for you.
Your adrenaline in this moment just takes over as you come out the water. You just sort of sprint over to the rock and just start tearing through, climbing it, scaling it. You're like, fuck it, I'm going for it. You're hyped up. The whole jumping into water thing randomly and just in the moment really got you pumped. And just in true spirit, you're just like, whoa, 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 jumping up this rock.
Jackdaw, the debt collectors are after you.
Yeah, that's it. Running like the debt collectors are after him. And then you make it a fine. Flipping, you carry up the back. On an 11 REA, you slip for a moment. And as you go to fall, you quickly feel that flipping on his 23, your sparring partner reaches his paw out and grabs you, pulls you back to safety on the rock, and sort of both of you steadily make it up to the first set of ledges on this rock here.
Well, I at least learned one thing. I'm not
We
good
also
at
now have rope to go down without needing to climb down. We can just slide down the rope.
propel. Is it propel or repel?
Rappel, yeah.
RE.
Did Jackdaw go in front of Undine when he had his zoomies?
Yeah, you made it up there first.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cast. I'm gonna look down at them, and I'm gonna say Bravo 6 going dark, casting invisibility.
Oh, by the way, it's not repel, it's rappel. RAPPEL.
Rappel. Yeah.
Like grapple, but without.
Yeah.
But spelled weird and without the G.
I just know in movies I heard it pronounced as repel or repel down the wall.
It sounds very similar, yeah.
Right.
People
hang on,
don't know
do
how
you
to
want-
pronounce their vowels like me.
Then,
Well,
then again,
it-
there are three theirs that mean three different things and are spelt completely different but all sound the same.
the weird pronunciation here, we can have the. It's pronounced like repel, apparently. It's just spelled really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are we looking at?
Not
I'm not-
Jackdaw, because he's gone invisible.
He's going.
What's Jackdaw looking at up top?
Give me a perception check.
Oh, yes, please. That sounded
As
so wrong.
Undyne
I
arrives at the
apologize,
top, she's
Ben.
gonna pull her elf cloak
That's a
hood up.
14.
14. Awesome. 14. You hear a lot of running about. Not necessarily a lot of shouting or anything, but a lot of running about. There seems to be a lot of commotion. You hear in the distance every now and again. You found her? Fuck. Has anyone found her? Fuck. She's gonna be so fucking pissed. Fuck. Let's go check somewhere else. Fuck.
Fuck indeed.
So Althea was making her way over to the cliff. That's a good sign.
Wait, do we all hear this at this point?
Just check. Oh.
I will say that you all hear it as you begin to scale up. Jackdaw is the first one to make notice and gain on the perception because he was up there first. But as you all finally get up there, you do hear like the commotion as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as Undyne reaches the top, she's gonna pull up her cloak's hood so that she can gain its advantages.
Okay.
If the hood is not up, then nothing happened.
I think Flippin reaches the top and he puts his hands on his hips and stands up as tall as possible, wearing his blue Hakama wave suit. Yeah, you guys were more stealthy at this.
Undyne doesn't necessarily look more stealthy. Like, from what she's doing, it looks like she should be immediately caught. Just because of pure size, and like she's sort of crouching, but it doesn't really make much difference.
You're all still on the back of this cliff. Are you going to try and stealth your way in?
Jackdaw will.
Okay.
Oh,
Invisible.
wait. Yeah.
You
Oh
are also
no!
invisible, so you don't really need to make a stealth check.
It's true.
You spot that there's a lot of them running around as you turn the corner. You're invisible, so you can go and have a bit of a look around. A lot of people seem to be running around looking for someone.
Yeah, you know what? Undyne's gonna make sure that the others stay behind. We're sending Jackdaw out to scout first.
Jackdaw said nothing. He just disappeared, guys. I hope you know that.
Yeah, when you guys got to the top of the rock, Jackdaw was gone.
Yeah, she trusts him. She does trust him.
Undyne, you did hear
but
Undyne, you did his 07 going dark. And then
she
Jackdaw
vaguely trusts him enough to trust that he'll come back with more information.
Jackdaw, as you looked around a bit more, there does seem to be already this does seem to be causing some sort of distraction here. It does seem to have everyone's sort of attention. I'm just trying to think here from where you are. You can see that a lot of the area that a lot of them are coming from. You see that some of them have checked this like particular alcove that leads around this corner in the buildings surrounding here, and you've watched them sort of head off for now. You don't know whether another group will turn up to check this place, but for now there's not anyone in the immediate vicinity. Right here, you watch them sort of head off. You can see where a lot of them seem to be coming from, and you can see a lot more light coming from around the corner where begins to look a lot more like open space. There's no sign of Althea, and there is currently no sign of the Harpy Queen.
Did Sage ever describe what Sawyer looked like by chance?
No.
Damn it.
Considering
look
they're related,
similar?
considering they're related, they probably share some visual similarities.
Yeah, not as noticeable now. Sawyer clearly goes out of a way to make things.
Her hair is
not as-
dyed too, so.
Yeah, her hair's dyed, for example. I know there are obviously physical characteristics that they would share.
Yeah, it's just
But
not
it's whether
super obvious.
whether you'd pick that up is a different thing completely. Usually that's something you pick up when you go, oh yeah, we're brother and sister, and you go, oh yeah, I can see that now. It's usually not something that you sort of pick up on the fly here.
I guess I'm gonna look for any women that look remotely like Sage, and I'm gonna use inspiration for this.
Okay. Awesome. Give me perception. Actually, give me investigation, because you're actually looking for something in specific.
Okay. Alright, here we go. Station. 19 and 8. So I'll take 19.
Okay.
Goodbye. I hardly
Goodbye.
knew ye inspiration.
Hard to tell. You see some women around here with red hair that sort of match Sage's sort of color of hair. You see a couple of possible candidates that look like they could be related to Sage.
I guess I'll try to slink closer.
Okay. They again seem to be searching. In terms of what they're saying, you can just hear things going. You know that the longer we take to do this, the more piss she's going to be. So let's just fucking get this over with. She can't have gone that fucking far, can she? I don't even know what happened. 1 minute it's there, 1 minute she's not. What the fuck is she? Some kind of witch?
You're getting close, yeah. Wait, we just realized neither Althea nor Jackdaw will be able to spot each other if they even if they cross paths.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit, jacked up. I'm gonna try to slink back to the crew, and I don't think I need to be here, do I?
You can
Certainly.
slip back to the crew and let them know what's happening. I'll say that you do that. Althea, as you begin to dart off in the chaos towards the rock, you have a minute of invisibility. You begin to run as fast as you can, getting out of sight as quickly as possible. I take it you're just straight running, you're not trying to hide or anything, you're just trying to take as less walked route as you can towards this back cliff face.
Yeah, I feel like she's being a little careful to make sure that she's not going to run into anybody and nobody's going to run into her. But yeah, she's just hauling ass, basically.
Okay.
She saw where the Cordelia is. She has a general direction in mind. If she can get in the water, she can do her best to get to them. So, like, that way.
Okay. As you ran off as well, you did see that the Harpy Queen seemed to head off towards like the peak. As you took her head back, you sort of got the last final words of Ola, something about her. You heard her saying something about time to test her new present.
Oh. She's She maybe speeds up a little bit.
You speed up a bit. Give me a stealth check.
I thought you said they couldn't hear me.
They can't? For the first minute?
Okay.
Oh, it is a decently big island, isn't it?
It's bigger than a minute to get to the other side, yeah.
So, let's talk about this real quick. Because
Okay, talk to me. What do you want to talk about?
when Althea notices that she's not invisible anymore, which, like, her hands are in front, like, when you're running, you see your hands. Like, she would notice, right? She would slow down and start sneaking. Like, she's not just gonna be booking it in, not broad daylight, broad moonlight, while visible. But, like, look, we can just don't look.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What did you roll?
I don't want to tell you. You know already.
Let me ask you again for the audio listeners. What did you roll?
The 4.
Rolled a 4.
Oh dear God.
Althea, you are conscious of the invisibility. You begin to dart off, and you are conscious of this. You notice when you do go invisible, and at that moment you begin to slow down and look for a moment to like sort of stealth. You look, and there's a moment where you're sort of near a nearby building, but there's a bit of a pathway here. It's not an opportune moment, and as you sort of turn to look around to see where to hide, you see there's a group of harpies that just come out of one of the buildings, see you standing there, and goes, "Oh, looks like we found her. Someone tell the queen that we found who she's looking for. Girls, party's back on soon." All of them begin to dart towards you out there. While two of them begins to start like shouting and trying to raise an alarm of some sort here. The rest of you are round the corner from this at the moment. Jackdaw, you hear all of this noise coming from where you have just literally been. You hear this shouting saying, "We found her, we found her." They begin booking it towards you out there. What do you do?
I'm running.
Running? Okay. You begin running. What do the rest of you do?
As soon as Althea rounds the corner, can Undyne just snatch her?
Well, you guys haven't seen Althea yet.
It's all they have.
You haven't heard her either. She's not said anything.
Right. Undyne's gonna watch the edge and attempt to grapple whoever comes around the edge.
Okay.
Can I see
Awesome.
the group?
You're back with the group.
We gotta go.
At Althea.
Like a bullet.
Not leaving her
I'm
behind.
again.
Damn right we're not.
Althea, you start booking it. These harpies are behind you. Give me an athletics or an acrobatics to really push down and try and get out of here.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I changed my mind. Rolled a 7.
Unfortunately, a lot of these harpies chasing you seem to be gaining on you. They seem to be faster. They...
Why do you have to determine
An Eldritch Blast at one of them.
before you roll?
I
That's all it took all our fucking luck, guys.
you have these harpies chasing you.
I want to.
All of you begin to also hear in this moment, this goes for all of you, a very loud and unusual whirring sound. Like a mechanical whirring sound. It's very like as something begins to power up. That seems to echo around the rock. The harpies begin to try and gain on you. I'll say they are gaining on you. Just as they begin to, you go to turn this corner, and in your instinct reaction, whoomph, you grapple whoever comes round. It doesn't seem to be an enemy, and it is Althea. But then, as you grab her and look at her and sort of shock that it is Althea, 4 of these harpies turn the corner. I want all of you to roll initiative for me. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session, guys.